Is there a catastrophic event about to happen? Coming up next on Pastor Bob's Coffee Break. Headbangers Brew, what I'm drinking this morning, in whole bean and ground and decaf, and we sold out of K-Cups. We have more coming. Thank you all for buying K-Cups. We sold out of them in a few days. That's a nice problem, isn't it? Anyway, here's my mug for the day. It is well with my soul. What an opportunity and what a joy to be able to say that. I love this song. It's one of our Metal Dude collections, as you can see. It is well with my soul. And the poster of the month, I suck and Jesus knows it. John 3:16. You can get all of that and so much more. WeAreMetalWeAreFamily.com. Dear Pastor Bob, many are saying that the world is doomed at this point. The only way out is for Jesus to rescue us. And some believe there's about to be a catastrophic event or a catastrophe of some kind, and Satan is about to fully take over. What do you believe? And I hear all of this, and I hear the rumblings, and I know that there are people that believe that that's the case. I believe in revival. I believe that God's about to bring revival to the earth, and I pray for that every day. And not everyone believes it. I had a good friend that was here the other day that said, I don't believe there's going to be revival. The world is too far gone for that. I don't believe that. And I believe that God gave us some promises that are important. Is there a catastrophic event about to happen? There might be. And the indicators are that things are not good in the world right now, and there could be catastrophic events that affect all of us. We could be without power, without internet, God forbid, without food and whatever. Yes, that could happen. And it might happen. And I think it's good that all of us are prepared for that. You ought to have a little bit of food and water stored up, just in case for anything. You know, here we live in Tennessee, and we've had, in the past 2 years, we've had a devastating tornado. We've had a devastating flood. A bomb went off. We've had, all of these things go on. And of course, we've all gone through the Rona. Yeah. And it's good to just be prepared. Just, no matter what happens, you never know. And if there is a catastrophe where we lose power and the stores shut down and, all of that, you got to have a little bit stored up. It just makes sense. But what about this from a biblical point of view? Well, let's look at a couple of scriptures that are really important to this. The first one is found in John chapter 16 and verse 33. And Jesus says, I've told you these things so that in me you might have perfect peace and confidence. Now, his will for you is not to walk around in fear all the time. He says, I've told you these things about me. I've told you these things about your relationship with me, so that in me you might have perfect peace and confidence. And then he says, in the world you will have tribulation and trials and distress and frustration. Well, yeah. And we see that happening all around us. And he promised we would. What again? Tribulation, trials, distress, frustration. Sounds like what's going on, doesn't it? But he says, but There's a big but. Whenever he says but, listen to what he's about to say. But be of good cheer. Take courage. Be confident. Be certain. Be undaunted. Really? He says, for I have overcome the world. I have deprived it of power to harm you, and I've conquered it for you. Well, can the world kill you? Yeah, they can. Can they harm you to the point of death? Yes. Can they take away your faith and affect your eternity? No. He says, have perfect peace in that you will have all of this trouble in the world, but take heart. I've conquered this. I died for this. I set you free. You know, as Paul is sitting in prison over and over again in the New Testament, he may be shackled and he may, be in a place where, the worst place to be. And yet he says, my spirit soars. I'm free inside because of what Jesus has done in his heart. It's pretty cool. One more scripture, John chapter 14 this time, and looking at verse 27. And he says, peace I leave with you. He says, I'm not just taking it with me, I'm leaving it with you as well. My own peace, perfect peace is what he said in the scripture before this. He says, my own peace I now give and bequeath to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. And he says, do not let your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. Stop allowing yourselves to be agitated and disturbed, and do not permit yourselves to be fearful and intimidated and cowardly and unsettled. Well, folks, a lot of times it causes us to have some action too. Do we just sit by and watch horrible things happen? Do we just sit by, as this question said, is Satan about to take over? Well, not if I have anything to do about it. And no, he's not. Jesus says, I've overcome the world. But when you see things going on around you, don't be quiet. Stand up, say something about it. We still have an obligation to affect morality all around us. Pretty important. But stop allowing yourselves to be agitated and distressed. Walk boldly. Don't permit yourselves to be fearful and intimidated and cowardly and unsettled. Be bold. Be strong. Don't be intimidated, and let your heart be settled. He says, I've given you my peace. So we walk boldly. No matter what goes on around us, we walk boldly. Because no matter what happens to this body, we have eternity in mind. It's good news, isn't it? It's great news. So we'll talk about this more, because this is the year for revolution. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in the days to come. We need a revolution, and we need it now. And it's a revolution of love, his love, agape. Folks, don't forget, you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.